Sex offenders are receiving treatment right across the street from a daycare.
Target 7 has uncovered the loophole that has allowed this to happen for 25 years. Here is Jason McNabb.
This is my happy place.
This is Michael Van Mersbergen.
Living across the street, it's one of the best gifts I ever had.
His house faces Fundamentals Child Development Center, a daycare in Farmington. The children in the playground remind him of his grandchildren, who have since moved away. And living just next door?
As far as Dr. Mike goes, I don't think I would want a better neighbor.
He's talking about Dr. Michael Castanel, a licensed clinical social worker for the state of New Mexico. Dr. Castanel's work is very specific.
I am in the practice of rehabilitating sex offenders.
On this side of the street is where sex offenders come to get rehabilitated. Now on this side, a daycare, a playground for children.
I don't think it's safe for people who have children to be that close to a school like that.
This man, who wishes to remain anonymous, called the Target 7 tip line, concerned about the closeness of the rehabilitation program to the daycare. The twist? He himself is a registered sex offender who completed Dr. Castanel's program as part of his probation.
To me, it's kind of disturbing to see children playing right in front of somebody that's going to commit a crime against a child.
How would you feel, doctor, about anyone who has concerns about the location?
We are aware of the neighborhood in which I practice.
Dr. Castanel told Target 7 that the New Mexico Probation Department approached him about starting work with sex offenders 25 years ago in this location.
We felt and we feel that with the proper safeguards, this can work, and it can work well for everybody.
He says his clients are required by the probation department to park on his side of the street, stay on his side of the street, and never cross or go north towards the other homes. He also says the daycare is well aware of what he does and says he's never gotten a complaint.
And I think it's because, by and large, we don't have a problem. The guys will come, they will do their class with me, which is typically an hour and a half, one day a week, and they go home. And it's been that way since I've been working with the men.
It's a valid concern, I think, that the community has, but our children's safety is always our #1 priority.
Kristen Sanderson is the executive director of Fundamentals Child Development. She says her daycare has never had problems with Dr. Castanel's clients and says safety protocols are always in place to protect the children. Let me ask you this, Kristen. Do you guys disclose to the parents of what's located right across the street?
You know, we've had some law enforcement individuals who bring their kids here. We've had attorneys who bring their kids here and who have asked but continue to bring their children here because this is a safe and high quality place, and also because there just isn't an issue.
But how is a sex offender rehab allowed to operate across the street from a daycare facility in the first place? Farmington Police Chief Steve Hebby says it's simple.
It is a counseling center. It's not a residential facility.
Chief Hebby says since no offenders actually live there, no laws are being broken.
If it's a residential facility, they can't reside within 1,000 feet of those, but they can physically go into that zone at times. And in this case, you know, he's got a treatment facility going. So
for neighbors like Michael Van Mersbergen, he maintains he's never had a problem with the setup, and everyone who lives on this street keeps an eye on each other.
So we have a pretty powerful neighborhood watch. People care about each other.
For Target 7,
I'm happy to be here.
I'm Jason McNabb.
An update to a Target 7 investigation we told you about earlier this month. The former senior director who oversaw the Gateway West shelter was fired after giving mayoral candidate Alex Ubaez a tour over the summer. Now we are learning a state board found she did nothing wrong. Now, while owned by the city, Chicanos por la Causa is the nonprofit that runs the Gateway West shelter, also known as the Westside Emergency Housing Center. Target 7 found the senior director who oversaw multiple facilities, including Gateway West, was fired after giving the tour. However, Mayor Keller maintains he had nothing to do with it. Keller's chief administrative officer, Carlo Martinez, doubled down on this to Target 7.
At the time that they reached out to the city, they were not even sure who the candidate was. They just knew that somebody had been visiting the Gateway West.
Fighting to prevent her from obtaining unemployment, the nonprofit argued she, quote, left work voluntarily and with good cause connected to employment. But now, new documents obtained by Target 7 show New Mexico Workforce Solutions found she did nothing wrong to get fired and does in fact qualify for unemployment. We reached out to Chicanos por la Causa for a comment on the situation, but have yet to hear back. If you have a tip for us to investigate, call 505-884-6347 or email tips, target7tips@koat.com.